Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at, ladies and gents. I am Kura Isagami, your resident tinkerer and Medarot, and this is the Medarot News Network, bringing you all the latest developments and happenings with our favorite pet fighting robot series. Now, as we crest into the fourth and final week of the ZOIDS 2026 collaboration, it looks like things are going to be slowing down just a little bit as we reach this grand finale. We don't have any new collaborations that were announced or revealed aside from the second half of the ZOIDS Genesis collab, so naturally we only have one brand new model, the last model of this collaboration series, alongside one last round of limited run events and rewards that also come alongside it. That being said, let's go ahead and jump right into what was officially announced for this week, starting with the gacha banners and who to expect in this last week's lineup of the ZOIDS 2026 collaboration. Now, naturally, alongside all the other previous collaboration models, not just through this collab, but previous, we have one brand new one, and that is ZGS-01 BM Raptor, with a completely new kit across the board of Shock Fire, Guard Claw, Lock Claw, biped legs, and a brand new leg ability of Element Coat. Now, to basically explain BM Raptor in general, because we did actually have him as an enemy-only NPC in the previous week's collaboration, he's basically a very situational-based auxiliary attacker, and the leg ability is actually a very interesting decision too with what they chose to go through with him, because it basically renders him completely immune to all types of attribute damage, such as gravity, gunpowder, and even optic attribute abilities too, where he can negate the damage down to about 10%, but of course taking massive recoil damage from basically anything else. Shockfire basically puts him in the same tier as Vankerbat's Shockwave, Guard Claw being able to boost his resist, and Lock Claw being able to inflict lock on enemies makes him rather versatile in the roles he tries to fill, but it's still a rather interesting case on how he chooses to go about it. Naturally, much with Murasame Liger we had last week, there is also one last paid cosmetic skin that's going live this week as well, and that is for the mass production type style for the Bio MEGARAPTOR that will be going up alongside him. Unfortunately, I do have to say as my personal thought and comment that while BM Raptor may sound really good on paper, his form and execution might be a little bit to be desired, but we will have to see that when he does officially launch this week. Now, alongside BM Raptor, we have a couple of familiar faces that we've actually not seen in a pretty hot minute, and those include GWF-03 White Glen with Guard Boost, Hammer, Charge Blade, Biped Legs, and Rush, and BHM-01 Sappho Behemoth with Buff Trap, Meteor, Break Rush, Tank Legs, and Haja. So ultimately this week, it looks like it's going to be focusing pretty heavily on armor emphasis or damage reduction emphasis, between the tank legs having the natural damage reduction on that's stackable, and White Glen also having guard boost on there as well. Means that you're not going to be hard pressed for anyone that if you're looking for things that can keep your damage low while not sacrificing power or part slots. And of course, naturally, they're both very solid in either of the roles that they choose to fill with. Sappho Behemoth also is very good for buff trap for any enemies that try to use buffs to try to get a competitive edge over you, as a way to passively damage them and then remove all the buffs as well. For the fierce battles we have this week, it's going to be a very high variety parts that are up for grabs this week, ranging between both male and female. It's going to be a little bit of here, there, and everywhere with everything that's available for players to collect. Starting up this week on the top row, we have KAB-0 Grade Kabuki with Triple Virus, Wheeled Legs, and Charm. HNM-0 Hanu Monkey with Shoot Trap, Heater, Hammer, Biped Legs, and All-Rounder. And GDR-0 Gun Desperado with Rifle, Double Anti-Air, Biped Legs, and Gunman. On the bottom row, we have HKD-0 Hakato with Charge Plant, Hammer, Guard 300, Biped Legs, and Fortress. SKD-0 Sagoda with Beam, Double Hold, Biped Legs, and Captor. And last but not least, GLM-0 Sekizo with Triple Missile, Tank Legs, and Continuous P. Now, I did mark Sekizo as the MVP of the week, primarily on the grounds that the tank legs with that ability means that he does kind of fix his overall issue of his speed starting out very low over time. but still having the triple heavy support and fairly solid specs, that means he's still very good even at lower levels. But across the board, all 6 of the models still have at least 1 or 2 good parts to hold on to. Grade Kabuki for decent wheeled legs or virus parts if you need turn skipping, Hanu Monkey as your general support and auxiliary all-rounder, Gun Desperado for your anti-air coverage if you do find yourself in need of that, Hakado kind of like a miscellaneous auxiliary support, much like Hanu Monkey in this regard, and Sagoto also for being able to slow enemies down and try to help keep a speed edge in the competition at any time. So ultimately, farm for all 6, but I'd say Sekizo and maybe even Gun Desperado will probably be the 2 really big ones you want to focus on more than anything. For the final wave of the ZOIDS 2026 collaboration event, it's going to be fairly low stakes this time around, with only 2 brand new limited time rewards to be collected, much like it was last week. This time around, we have the opportunity to earn the Hunter Medal, which is a Hunter Nature Medal, as kind of obvious, with a mastery in melee, shooting, and defense, and legs of biped, wield, and float. We can also collect a profile banner featuring BM Raptor himself, and of course limited time resources such as Cyplasium, gacha tickets, and more. The event for this last week of the collaboration will be Meta Meister, so it is going to be very low stakes and very easy to complete, like I said. Simply explained, it will release 1 level of the dungeon per day over the course of the week when the patch does drop, each one progressively more difficult than the last. Simply put, you will accomplish the dungeon with a challenge and has bonus missions in there to complete for extra points. And once you collect all the points required to reach that max score, you're done. You don't have to touch anything else with the event until the next day and the next level drops. So ultimately, it's going to be very easy to go in and out, get your stuff done, and not really have to worry about spending too much time farming or grinding that ends up turning into an overall slog, much like it kind of has been with previous events, and new players trying to catch up with all the previous stuff that's currently up and running still, with all the previous ZOIDS collaboration models and events also currently ongoing through this week and ending next week. For Meta Survivor, there's really nothing to note there, aside from the fact that they are introducing a brand new mechanic and challenge mode that's going to be announced and releasing next week, the 25th of March, and that is an endless mode. Essentially, it's basically as the name implies. You'll be unlocking it after clearing stage 35 minimum, and you'll be earning high scores within a time limit while endless hordes come at you from all sides. So unlike regular runs where essentially we'll have wave bosses and then the stage boss and you're done, this one's basically going to keep going and see how long you can last and see if you can stack the highest damage, see if you can stack the highest bonus and highest score possible before the hordes end up getting you. It's hard telling how exactly this is going to be officially released and rolled out, so I will come up with more news on that next week when it does drop, and of course some players get to try it out and see what they think. As far as new bots are concerned, there's nothing really to report there. They are simply going to reset all the stuff for the event for the second half of Vasiliades, kind of as you'd expect up to this point with current cycles and patterns. Now, as far as Card Row Battle RB, though, as they've been talking about with the Switch here upcoming in June, it has actually been ramping up with a lot of new stuff to talk about it. How the game works, all the different features, some of the characters to introduce. But this morning, they introduced 2 brand new, never-before-seen models that will be making their appearances in Card Row Battle RB. And that is the HTM-type Arcadia, a Hermes type, and VAL-06 Thrud, a new Valkyrie type in the line. Now, these 2 have actually been sparking some rather interesting discussions in the Discord channel as of earlier this morning, trying to properly translate the names and get everything running, but it looks like it appears that Arcadia's name is actually a very interesting nod and reference to the actual legend and mythos of Hermes and where he actually resided when he wasn't traveling, and that is indeed the location named Arcadia. So it just goes to show I love the level of time and detail and reference that the designers put into creating these designs and the part names and the model names. They are very creative designs. I'm very excited to see if they are actually going to drop in Meta S or Meta Survivor. And given that they're dropping in a pair, I'd say it's a pretty open opportunity and good chance that we might. So we will have to see closer to the official release of Card Row Battle RB, or if they decide to release them sooner and let the players actually kind of sample how exactly they'd run, translating from one game to the other, of course. Moving on to community-related stuff, as always, we're still looking for translators to assist with any ongoing projects or endeavors, such as the Medarot 4 or 9 translation project, or any manga translations that are still currently ongoing as well. So if you are knowledgeable in coding, cleaning, Japanese, and have some time on your hands, or if you know somebody that might be, do not hesitate to reach out to me or join our Discord. We will get you in touch with the right people. Additionally, if you also would like to donate to the cause, if you do not have any talent to offer, there's a link to various crowdfunding in the comments below where you can donate to the cause, and we can commission those lines of text to be translated to make life just a little bit easier overall on the translator's work, since it's really just a team of about 3 or 4 people, tops. The Medarot 9 translation was largely machine translated by one person after it was picked back up. So the more people we have working on that to clean it up and make it look cohesive and sound nice, the better it is in the long run. As other reminders, next week, I actually did mistype it in the announcement tweet and my announcement on it last week. As a reminder of my Medarot and ZOIDS retrospective, I will be hosting sometime through this next week, where I will be having the resident ZOIDS expert of YouTube and the internet, Phobos, officially join me on the MNN, and we will talk about all the different ZOIDS designs and models and the collaborations that Meta S has had, just to kind of see how well or just how on point that the references, the designs, and the lore was when it comes to comparing to the source material. I have been in contact with Phobos over this last week or so, and we are both very, very excited for this collaboration, and I hope that you guys will tune in for that when that video does officially go up on my channel sometime this next week. One final reminder as well for other ongoing stuff, we are still have the PRB Ori Meta contest that is still ongoing. Right now, currently ongoing between the 13th of February to the end of April, so we're just over the halfway mark before this contest does officially end, if there's anything that you'd like to submit. There is no theme prompt required for this one. It is a free-for-all, so you can design whatever you want to your heart's desire, within reason, obviously, with the top prizes on the line being personalized art, much like I have offered in previous contests, and a personalized row battle breakdown video, much like I do with current new designs on the MNN every week. I will try to start actually offering this more consistently with a brand new playlist all to itself to really garner and gauge participation, because talking about fan designs like this and being able to showcase them off and give credit to the artist is something I love to do, and I'd love to see a lot of designs by the time this contest ends, because I will actually be going over all the designs with some friends of mine as panel judges, and we will decide all of them in real time on stream. You will find all the rules and information on the contest in the Discord in the link provided in the comments below if you have any questions on that. One final reminder, also, I am on Card if you'd like to find any of my contacts or my socials or any of my commission services. So if you are looking for a live 2D model ready to rig, 3D, the Ep.247 model, standard art, I'm happy to do whatever you need within reason. You can find all my information there that you can reach out to me, preferred socials, messages, rates, and so on. That's the best place you will see it. There is a link also in the comments below as well. But that basically covers everything for this week's episode. So, like I said, it looks like we're going to be kind of closing out the ZOIDS 2026 collaboration on a fairly quiet note. Not really anything huge or massively magnanimous, I suppose, for lack of a better term, just with the release of BM Raptor and no one else. But it's still going to be very exciting all the same as we kind of go back to business as usual next week. But if you'd like to know more, you can follow us below on Facebook at the Medarot News Network page or the Metabots Forever community that is now swelling over 52,000 members and still growing. You can also join us on Discord in the link provided and in the comments below to keep an even closer ear to the ground on the action. This includes any new links to merchandise, fan art, contests, my weekly episodes, or anything else of the like. That is the first place you'll get the news before it goes anywhere else on the net, guaranteed. You can also reach out to me personally on Twitter, Blue Sky, Discord, whatever your social media platform of choice is, at Isagamikura. So if you have any questions, suggestions, feedback, whatever, that's the best place you will get it before it goes anywhere else on the net. And of course, if you have any questions or would like to collaborate with me, commission me, That's the best place you can do so as well. I do also want to take a minute and say thank you so much for anyone that wished me a happy birthday over this last week. I'm still kind of wrapping my head over the idea of turning 30 officially, and now officially hitting that big 3-0. So I'm not 100% sure how to process it, still figuring that part out, but I still do appreciate all the warm comments and the celebrations and the messages over the course of the weekend as well for that. So thank you so much for that. I do appreciate it. But with all that being said, as always, I do appreciate you all for stopping in, just as you always do. And until next time, this is your host, Kura Isagami of the Medarot News Network, signing out.